Hi friends, I'm so sorry. It's been such a long time since I've joined you in video form. I don't know, maybe you don't care. But I have been, if you've been following my posts at all, I have been very busy with trying to put away all the fruit and vegetables that we've been harvesting from this garden. And it's been fun. It's been a lot of work, but I really have enjoyed the learning process of things I'm gonna do different next year, what to plant more of, what to plant less of. Just learning how to can and preserve food has been really exciting. I actually have been in the garden less and in the house more. I basically come out here to harvest, maybe to tend a few crops if they need them. I've had to pull out some cucumbers and some melons due to blight, which is not uncommon this time of year. Especially if it's raining and hot, you're gonna get blight, and if you don't pull them out, it'll get in the dirt and it'll pass on to other plants. So I did unfortunately have to pull a few of those, and I've started to pull out bean plants that are finishing up, and I'm starting to try to sow some winter vegetables like radishes and rutabaga and turnips and kohlrabi. I've got broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage. I'm trying to think what else I've got going up here, and some starter pots. And so I feel like I'm in the thick of harvest and food preservation, and then also starting to transition into the fall garden. And the tomatoes are prolific. I mean, I'm just bringing in bushels every day, so I'll clear my counter off by the end of the night making crushed tomatoes, stewed tomatoes, salsa, whatever, and then by the next day it's all completely full again, which is fine. That's what I wanted. So it's just a learning process. The peppers are really starting to come in, and strangely enough, I'm getting some pepper plants that I didn't plant, like some bell peppers that I don't remember planting, or that are spicy, or some purple. It's like purple banana peppers. I don't know where it came from. And so I am curious if things are cross-pollinating within this first year, which is kind of unusual, or if there were some seeds that were mixed in the seed company, in the hustle and bustle to get all their seeds out. I've actually had 2 tomato plants that I thought were blueberry cherries that ended up being the Napa Chardonnay cherries, and I know that I pulled them out of one seed packet because this was after everything had been planted out, and I restarted these blueberry cherries. So it's just been kind of funny, but I was grateful for that mistake, because I will tell you right now, my all-time favorite tomato plant in the garden is the Napa Chardonnay yellow cherry plant from Wild Boar Farms. It is heavenly. They don't even make it in my house because I'll just eat them right off the vine. And after that, it would be the yellow Eagle Heart cherry tomato from Seed Savers Exchange. You might be able to get these from other companies if you Google them. That's just where I got them from, and where I think they are originally were held before other companies started purchasing them. My favorite canning tomato by far is the crushed heart, which is an ox heart tomato. And so it's big, it's thick, it's really meaty, it's really good for tomato sauces and pastes and stuff. And actually the German pinks they're the really huge red tomatoes that I've been posting, and they are also really meaty with less juice and seeds, and are good for canning. The yellow tomatoes are really tasty, like the pork chocks, which you'll see in the picture I'm posting with this. Very lemony and bright, but they're juicier. So I have to, if I'm going to use them in a recipe, I usually have to roast out some of the juices if I don't want it to be too watery. And then the large barred boar, which are the bigger green and red striped tomatoes, have been good for both salsa and canning. I usually mix them with a meatier type tomato just so I don't have too watery of a sauce. And then like my saladettes, which are the 2 and 3 ounce tomatoes, like the silvery fir tomatoes, the pink sapphires. I'm starting to get the cosmic eclipses. Those are really good for like caprese salads, tomato sandwiches, serving on salads, because they're smaller and juicier, so they cook down really quick if I'm using them for sauce. and I can, but I just am finding those are better for like fresh eating or roasting or recipes like that. So I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, my gold medal tomatoes, which are those huge yellow and orange tomatoes that have been my 2-pounders. Those are also right between a really meaty tomato and a really good slicer. So those have been really good tomatoes too. I have not been impressed with the Cherokee Rose plant. It always looks wilted, and it doesn't bear that much fruit. It does bear fruit and it's not dying. It just looks unhealthy. Both of them that I've grown. And I'll be honest, I haven't tried it yet. I've just started harvesting them, but they look like they'd be a really good sauce tomato. So I'll let you know when I cut into those. And the blueberry cherries, actually, that I was really excited about. I'm not overwhelmed by their flavor. They're okay. I'm really glad that 2 of them ended up being the Napa Chardonnay cherry, because those have been amazing. The Brad's Atomic grapes have been really good, and those are the ones that look like huge grape tomatoes. They could almost be a paste tomato. Those have a really unique flavor, and they're prolific. I did not need to plant as many plants as I did. And really, those are more of a fresh eating tomato. I'm watering, so I'm gonna move this while I'm talking to you. It's more of a fresh eating tomato, just because they're actually a really big grape tomato. But so they almost could be used like a paste tomato, but they're juicier than like an Amish paste or something like that. So anyway, those are pretty good. I'm gonna plan on making a tomato tart tonight with potatoes and I can't remember what else, cheese and stuff. So I'm gonna use those for that, because they're like the perfect size to slice and put in a tart. And I'll be sure and post pictures. And if I think of another tomato I'm forgetting, I will be sure and let you know. Right now I'm sitting in my winter squash garden, which thankfully is doing amazing. There's all different kinds of fun plants growing in here. This is my honey boat squash that I've got several of coming in, and it's just a beautiful contrast, this yellow and green stripes with like the honey nut squash that I have a ton of. This one right here is starting to ripen. It's starting to get its yellow color. This is one of the first ones that I think grew. It's starting to turn yellow and orange. I'll be watching for that. Sugar pie pumpkin here coming in. This is number 3. My first one is turning orange as we speak. Another honey nut squash. I have tons of these, and these are like a miniature butternut squash, and I've got them all down this vine. And speaking of butternut, my butternuts are coming in, and they are beautiful. They're like this beautiful sea green with washes of white. And I've got another really big one up on that vine over there, right there. So I've got those coming in. Here's some more of the honey boats right there. Another sugar pie down in here. Another sugar pie, that'll be my second one to get ripe. Here is my sugar pie that hopefully will be ripe before I leave for Oklahoma, so I can take that with me and cook some for my family. So we'll see. And my little Jack B. Little plant that is little, it is not, is still producing tons and tons and tons and tons of pumpkins. I should have done a count on how many, actually I could do a count on how many pumpkins this thing has produced. It is wild. And it has completely taken over this trellis, has grown all the way over, grown down here, grown down inside there. It's growing into my squash plants in there. It's growing out here, and it's starting to grow this way. I mean, this plant is probably 20 to 30 square feet if it was on the ground. I don't know, it's enormous, and it has produced a ton of pumpkins. So I really recommend this plant if you're looking for little pumpkins to grow or cook. Just be prepared for how big it's gonna be. And my morning glories have also taken over and have grown up to the very top of this teepee. So those are beautiful and colorful, popping through. all this purple and orange. My zinnias are amazing. I love all the color that these giant Veneri zinnias have added to the garden, and I love coming out here and cutting them and putting them in bouquets in the house. And hello, little friend. I'm still enjoying lots of beautiful sunflowers. They continue to bloom. This one especially, which I think is the Autumn Beauty sunflower. And I am happy to announce that this beautiful guy has finally bloomed and is my teddy bear sunflower. It is so beautiful and so cool. I love this plant, and there are tons and tons of blooms on this thing, tons. So when it really gets going, it's gonna be just spectacular. So teddy bear sunflower, look into it. The garden is just wild and wooing. I've got pepper plants everywhere, just enormous tomatoes still coming in. I am not pruning as heavily because I just can't keep up with it, but I'm definitely trying to cut where I can, just so that the plants that I do have growing will put their energy towards the fruit that's already on and not towards continuing to make more and more and more. This trellis is probably 7 or 8 feet tall, almost, yeah, 8 feet tall, and I've got plants going a foot above it. So I've got 9-foot tomato plants over here, and these are the cherry tomatoes that are reaching for the sky. It's my little Mexico midget here. These are pretty good. They've got a really good flavor. Probably my 3rd favorite among the cherry tomatoes that I grew this year. And word to the wise, if you're growing tomatillas, prepare to grow a tree. I had no idea how big this thing would get. And it's just completely taken over and fallen over, and it's growing into my squash plants, and my squash plants are going into it. It's just continuing to go crazy. And there's really not much I can do about it at this point. So in the future, if I grow tomatillas, which I will, I'm going to have a different plan for how to grow all my pepper plants, which are huge and prolific. And I've got these enormous bell peppers down here, which are supposed to turn red. They're just huge all inside this plant. There they are, way back in there. Huge, big, huge. King of the North bell peppers. I mean, yeah, just huge ones like what you'd buy at the store. Look at that guy, holy moly. So I'm hoping these guys turn red before something happens to them. This one over here is doing really well too. It's got these big bells on them. So I can't wait for this to start changing colors. I've got tons of jalapenos. I harvested a bunch of those this morning. This is the plant that I'm not sure what it is. It looks like a cross between a poblano and a bell pepper. My other poblano plant, which is in here, has a slightly different look about it. It's darker, it's more pointed. There's one down in there. Here's one that's probably ready right now. And this one looks more like a bell pepper. Well, maybe it's the same. Maybe it tricked me. But anyway, my poblanos are coming in, and all my jalapenos. I'm waiting for my golden treasures to turn orange. Those are my sweet ones. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Here's one, I'm not sure what it is. It looks like a regular bell pepper, but I thought I planted poblanos and jalapenos over here. So it's any man's guess. Actually, I thought I had put my orange bell peppers right here, and they all ended up being poblanos and jalapenos. So clearly I mislabeled some of my plants, but that's okay. I'm making lots of salsa. Green tomatoes over here that will come in the next few weeks. Lots and lots of green tomatoes. My guess is a lot of these will ripen when I'm gone in the next week or so. My nasturtiums are looking beautiful. Now that they have some more room to grow, they've really come in. And another Jacoby Little pumpkin plant that was way over there and now has made its way all through here. I pulled out all my beans and peas and a lot of my cucumbers that were right here. So all that's left is this Armenian cucumber here, some tomatoes, and herbs. And this is where I have planted some turnips, and I'm probably gonna plant a bunch more carrots back through here, especially now that I'm not having to trollop through there for cucumbers and stuff. I still have 3 cantaloupes going over there. I had to pull a couple plants due to some sort of disease that took them. And I just cleared out all the beans here. So now I'm gonna start making room for, I don't know, some sort of winter something. And my plan is when the corn and the beans are done back there and the peppers and the tomatoes are done over here, this will become my cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower and leek garden in this area. So, and kale, I'm gonna make this my kale garden right here too. So I'm starting to plan how I'm gonna do all of that, and hopefully we'll get that done in the next month or so. Here on the patio have done amazing. The only thing that's really gone wrong, if you want to call it that, is that these eggplants, which were prolific producers and still are producing a lot of flowers and fruit, something is trying to kill off these plants, and I can't tell if it's a fungus or a bug. And so I have to remind myself in the evenings to come out and spray these with neem oil just to try to keep them alive, because this one right here is being taken over pretty quickly. But when I spray them, they do much better. And so anyway, they're still growing, tons of fruit. In the future, I do not need 6 eggplants. Plants. It's a lot of eggplant. I've got tons of more Brad's Atomic grapes in here. They're prolific. More pork chops and large barred boars, and I've got some more German pinks coming in right there, huge ones. And these are the Cherokee roses I was talking about earlier that aren't awful. Just the plant has looked like this the entire season, just with the leaves curled, like it's always dried up, but it's not. It's just been a weird plant, and it just hasn't produced a ton of fruit. Not very much at all. So anyway, I'm not sure if I'll grow this one again. So that's really it. I mean, it's like I said, I'm spending most of my time inside trying to can and process all these things that I'm bringing in, and just trying to be out here when I can to tame this beast and keep it somewhat tidy. And back here you can see all my plants that I've got out, my seedlings, and I'm trying to sprout, and hopefully those will do something. And oh, I know what I didn't show you. I didn't show you the extension to our garden. Let me show you real quick before I end this. This is our new addition. It's our chicken coop and our chicken run and our chickies, which aren't cooperating. They're hiding behind their pallets here. A couple of my little chickies are out. Hi girls. Hi girls. What are you doing? Can you say hi to the camera? This is Miss Lacey, one of our light Brahmas. And Pearl, I think, is the one that just slipped back in there. I don't think she's gonna come out. Oh, can you say hi? Oh, there she is. Hi Pearl, hi Ringo. These are our 2.5, 3 week old little chickies. Pearl Star Leghorns and light Brahmas. There she is. This is Pearl. She's our sweet affectionate one, aren't you? Yes. And then over here are our older ladies. The white one is Americana, the winter baby. Sorry, her name is Winter Baby. She's an Americana. This is Goldie in front here. She's also an Americana. And then 2 silver lace Wyandottes back in there, Wyandottes. Hi Luna. Hi Luna. And this is their favorite place to hide. We've got the one for the big girls and the one for the little girls. And they're doing well together. So anyway, really excited to add this addition to our garden. So that's it, friends. At least for now, that's what's going on here. And I will keep you updated with recipes that I find interesting or tips as I come along. But I'm also, like I always say, really curious what's going on in your garden. So be sure and share the love, and I'll see you on the forum.